Good evening. It is Wednesday, April 19th, 2023. Welcome to the Town of Carmel Town Board meeting. This is a voting meeting. Tonight we have 14 resolutions. Directly after that, we'll have our work session where we have 6 items to discuss. So I call this meeting to order, and I ask if our town clerk, Ann Spofford, would please call a roll call attendance.
Councilman Baranowski. Here. Councilman Lombardi. Here. Councilwoman McDonough. Yes. Councilman Channel.
Here.
Supervisor Kazari.
Here. If everyone would please rise and face the flag. Councilman Lombardi is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just ask that we remain standing for a moment of silence. Remember those men and women who protect our freedoms around the world.
Thank you. So we have a special guest from the Carmel Central School District, Mary Margaret Zer, and the superintendent, and John Fink, assistant superintendent for business. They're going to just go over the Carmel school budget, just to let everybody know up in the Hamilton Carmel area what the school budget entails, just to get the word out. It's good. This is something I would like to see us do with Mahopac too.
We have
Okay. Thank you so much for having us here and allowing us to tell you a little bit about the budget. Mr. Fink and I will just briefly go over this front and back piece of paper. Our Board of Education has done a fantastic job building the budget for this year. We had the same types of issues and concerns that our homeowners have as well, and our taxpayers. Rising costs, supplies have risen dramatically, fuel oil has risen as well. Those economic pressures are really pushing on us as well. So John will talk a little bit about revenue and expenditure, and we'll talk about what's added to the budget. So I'll give the microphone to John.
Great. Thank you very much. First, thank you very much for having us this evening. I think this is a first for us, so we're very happy to be here as we go around to all of our different constituents in the community and our community members. So overall, the Carmel Central School District is proposing a revenue budget, which you see in there in front of you on the first top box, the Excel spreadsheet, and we compare the 22-23 school year to the 23-24 proposed budget. And as Sorry, I thought somebody was asking something. Obviously, most of our revenue comes from our local property tax, and that is that top number on the 23-24 school year. You're seeing that 101,399,438. And then the second number down is New York State aid. We received a huge windfall of state aid this year, $4.8 million increase, which is tremendous, okay? And most of that is comprised of foundation aid, which was largely kind of stripped away a number of years ago, and the governor and the legislative branch have slowly built that back, which is fantastic. We have some fund balance that we use towards reducing our tax levy, and then we have our miscellaneous. So our total revenue budget looks at $140,949,698, and that represents a 4.58% increase budget to budget for the revenue side. And the next chart down, you'll see the expenditures. Again, comparison from the 22-23 school year to the 23-24 proposed school year. You're looking at the different categories of general support, instructional support, pupil transportation, community programs, benefits, debts, transfers, and then our total. So general support's kind of that administrative side, where your instructional support is the largest portion of that. That's where the rubber meets the road with our instructional piece. Our pupil transportation is our bus services and all the components that go along with that in the garage. Our community programs, that's our SROs and SPOs that are in our buildings, as well as our DARE programs in our elementary schools. And then a large portion of our budget is comprised of benefits, correct, and our debt payments. So you'll see on the total there is that 140,949,698, same number as our revenues above. And again, that 4.58% increase.
So some of the things that we're adding to the budget this year with the state aid increase has been fantastic, but we've also had some increasing needs of our students, particularly in our special ed population. So we are adding in this budget additional supports, 1.5 special ed teachers, a 0.5 occupational therapist, a 0.5 physical therapist, a 0.5 speech therapist, a bilingual school psychologist, a student assistance counselor, English language learner teacher. And we also are implementing a new reading program, so we've put some money in for that, professional development and field trip funding. But on the non-instructional side, we're also adding monitors to help with some safety concerns that we have inside the buildings. And we are self-funded on our health care, so we're looking for someone to help on the benefits program. And adding a few more athletic programs for our students and some equipment, asbestos abatement removal program, some facilities equipment, and we're continuing our bus lease program. Our fleet is very old. Some of our oldest ones are 20-plus years, so we're continuing with that program. And on the back, you can just see the bottom line is that our revenues are matching our expenditures, and we're looking at a 1.86% tax levy increase. Our cap was 2.64. Thank you. I was going to say 8.6, but 6.4. So I think we've placed a really responsible budget out for our taxpayers, but also be able to meet the needs of our students. So Mr. Fink will talk a little bit about contingent budget, and then we have some safety projects that we want to put out to the taxpayers also.
Yes, I'm just going to highlight, again, that tax levy increase at 1.86 being much lower than the 2.64 that Mary Margaret mentioned earlier. We're really at the third year in a row where we've been much lower than our tax levy increase. In fact, during the 21-22 school year, we had a 0% tax levy increase. We were living on a contingent budget. And then last year, we were on a 0.97. So that's a significant savings to our taxpayers over the past 2 years, $3.5 million, over $3.5 million. So I get the pleasure to talk about what happens in a contingent budget, which is something that we don't want to live through again, but the reality exists. So really, you have to adopt, if the voters do not approve the budget on the first go-around, the Board of Education can go out with a second vote, and they can change that budget, or they can adopt a contingency budget, so they can move to make that decision. If that occurs, we're looking at a $1.8 million reduction from our current budget where we are. And right off the bat, you're going to see $100,000 come off in equipment purchases, because that's not allowed under contingent budget. And then $228,000 in buses purchased, that's out the window as well. So then once you've peeled that off, you're looking at $1.5 million to peel out of kind of what we've discussed on the other side of that page.
So you're going to vote for several things on our budget vote on the 16th. One is the budget. We have 3 people running for 2 positions on the Board of Education, but we also have 2 referendums for our taxpayers that are at 0 cost to taxpayers. We have a reserve fund, and we have some safety projects that we're looking at getting approved to move the money out of a reserve account into this project. So the first is a water tank replacement at our middle school. It is 50-plus years old, and if we don't make moves now to replace that tank, we could be in an emergency situation. So we're asking for removal of $500,000 out of our reserve, voter authorization of that. And then our phone systems also are failing. We had some issues this year. We had failures at our middle school, which is an incredible safety concern on our part, not being able to get a phone line out or in, and or our PAs and intercom systems. So that's over 20 years old. So we're looking for a movement of $1 million out of that reserve fund. So 2 safety projects to vote on, board members, and the budget. And I think if you had any questions, we'd be happy to answer any.
The 1.86 tax levy increase, what is that per household for a house of, I don't know, is it based on 250 or 300,000 average household?
That's correct. So we, not included, we ran out of room on our kind of front and back here. So we do an estimate based on a assessed value of about $350,000. Okay, so if your assessed value is higher or lower, you can kind of go from there, and that's based on your obviously assessed value, and then now I'm losing it here. Equalization rates, thank you very much, because I'm being put on the spot, obviously. But for the town of Carmel, it's looking about $155 difference for the year, okay, at $350,000 assessed value.
Not just for the residents of the hamlet of Carmel, correct?
Correct.
The other towns that are within the school district are maybe
Correct.
different.
We have Putt Valley, Patterson, Carmel, Kent, who else am I missing? Southeast, Southeast, and then East Fishkill. Okay? All of them are about 155. The town of Kent is a little bit more because of their assessed value is not equalized at 100. So they pay a little bit more at about 185.
So thank you for being assessed properly.
So the two Carmel voters here, Frank or Pete, do you have any question for the school? It's your taxes. Or John? Oh. Nope. Okay, all right.
Great, we can't wait.
Oh,
So on the state aid,
push your button.
I always forget to do that, sorry. On the state aid, that's a pretty hefty increase, and I don't think it's an election year. So are we just doing a better job, or was there a windfall across the state?
Yeah.
Or
Across the state.
Correct. Windfall is probably a good word for it. But again, as I mentioned earlier, foundation aid was stripped away a number of years ago and not given to school districts, okay? And then that slowly started to creep back in as they promised that, okay? And everybody kind of didn't really see that nor believe it. Last year, we did get a significant increase. This year, much greater. Than that. So it has been great. It's being offset. We did receive a lot of federal funding post-pandemic. That is all expiring now as well. So most of that is expiring September 2023, with some of it a little less expiring 2024.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming here.
Yeah, John, Mary, Margaret, thank you. This is good. This is a good relationship. I like it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Good luck. I hope that it passes.
You too.
So do we.
Thank you.
All right, so back to our agenda. So if there are any residents here in the audience that would like to speak, go on up to the microphone. Please limit it to 5 minutes. Yeah.
Hi, Frank Chianca, Hamlet of Carmel. I represent the Hamlet of Carmel Civic Association. It's my understanding that you'll be voting on an issue tonight regarding the Fowler Avenue property at Fowler Avenue and Route 301. I just want to get up here to say that we've been waiting a long time to get that corner cleaned up. It's an eyesore, possible safety hazard, and we do appreciate the fact that the town board is proceeding with this and the effort you put in, and thank you.
Thank you.
Bob, you have anything you want to say about that?
Just, it's been some time. It's been over 14 years. It's been an eyesore. It's been a poke in the eye to the hamlet of Carmel. And the beauty of that hamlet is really taken back by the look of that gas station that's just been abandoned. We tried for a long time to try and get it cleaned up. I want to thank the DEP and DEC for finally working with us and doing what they did. They did a great job, as far as I'm concerned, taking care of what, should have really been done a while ago, but we're on the right track, and hopefully the resolution will go through, and we'll be on our way to cleaning that property up finally. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Peter and Cherry, 5 Fowler Avenue. I live right next to that property for the last 50-plus years. I do appreciate what the town is doing. It took a little bit longer than I hoped. When the excavations were going on over the last year or so, when they actually took out the tainted dirt, the smell was pretty horrible. So I'm wondering what the impact is on our lake and our drinking water. How much is actually flowed into that over the 14 years that was left like that. So I'm glad to see it was taken down to the bedrock and, put fill in there, and hopefully now all the rest of the garbage that's there will be taken care of so I can actually work on the backside of my fence.
And smell the flowers.
Yeah, and smell the flowers instead of the gas fumes. But thank you very much, and hopefully everybody votes the right way. I'll be watching.
Thanks for coming to the meeting.
Thanks for coming
Thank
to the meeting. Thank you.
All right, if there's no other comments, we're going to move on to acceptance of the town board minutes from March 15th, 2023. Can I get a motion to accept them? A second?
Second.
So it's Baranowski and Shannell. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so the minutes are accepted from March 15th, 2023. Our first resolution is a resolution authorizing the budget revisions, 2023/02. Councilman Lombardi, could you read that one?
Sure. Whereas the town controller, Mary Ann Maxwell, has reviewed the proposed budget revisions for the period ending March 31, 2023 with the town board, which are detailed and explained on the attached budget revision schedule 2023-02, and now therefore be resolved, the town board of Town of Carmel hereby authorizes and ratifies the budget modifications, revisions for the period ending March 31, 2023, as shown itemized on schedule 2023-02, which is attached here to, incorporated herein, and made part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Seconded by McDonough. Can we please have a roll call?
Councilman Baranowski?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Shannell?
Yes.
Supervisor Kazari?
Yes, Resolution 1 passed. Our second resolution is declaring certain equipment obsolete and authorizing disposal. Councilman Shannell, could you?
Resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel, per the recommendation of Police Chief Anthony Hoffman in his memos dated April 5th, 2023, as attached hereto and made a part hereof, hereby declares the said equipment and vehicles to be obsolete and authorizes disposal in accordance with town law, including but not limited to Town Section 64, Subdivision 2A. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Lombardi. I think we can just do all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, resolution number 2 passed. Third resolution is waiving the notice requirement in Section 64 of New York State ABC law with respect to a liquor license for Stonehouse Grill, Inc., doing business as Stonehouse Grill. Whereas the representatives and/or proprietors of Stonehouse Grill, 562 Route 6, Mahopac, New York, have advised of the intention to apply for an on-premise liquor license for which 30 days advance notice of such application must be sent to the municipality, and whereas the notice requirement by Article 5 of the ABC law may be waived by the town board, and whereas the Town of Carmel Town Board does not intend to comment upon the application referred to herein, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby waives the 30-day notice requirement contained in Article 5 of the Alcohol and Beverage Control Law, and states that it does not intend to offer any comments regarding said application for a liquor license at the premise referred to herein, and be it further resolved that Town Clerk Ann Spofford is hereby authorized to sign a waiver of said notice on behalf of the Town Board. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by McDonough. Can we get a roll call?
Councilman Baranowski?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Shannell?
Yes.
Supervisor Kazari?
Yes. Resolution number 3 passed. I'm looking for 4. There it is. All right. Our fourth resolution is authorizing the mailing of Lake Cassie Park District's newsletter. Councilwoman McDonough, could you read that?
Of course. Resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel, acting as the commissioners of the Lake Cassie Park District, hereby authorizes the mailing of the April 2023 newsletter as prepared by the Lake Cassie Park District Committee to all properties within the district, and further directs that the cost thereof be charged as a district expense. I offer this resolution as read.
Seconded.
Seconded by Councilman Baranowski. Can we have a roll call?
Councilman Baranowski?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Shannell?
Yes.
Supervisor Kazari?
Yes, resolution number 4 passed. Our fifth resolution is setting the rates for the 2023 seasonal employees at the Lake Cassie Park District. Councilman Baranowski, could you read that?
Yes. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as the Commissioners of the Lake Cassee Park District, hereby sets the following rates for lifeguards in 2023. For the lifeguards, $14 to $19 per hour. For gate guards, $13 to $19 per hour. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Seconded by McDonough. Can we please get a roll call again?
Councilman Baranowski.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Supervisor Kazari.
Yes, Resolution 5 passed. The sixth resolution is authorizing waiving of bid for water tank building and concrete repairs, Carmel Water District Number 9, Contract 269. Councilman Lombardi, could you read that one?
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Water District Number 9, had previously authorized the advertisement for bids for the Carmel Water District Number 9 Water Tank Building and Concrete Repair Contract C269, and whereas said bids were publicly opened March 23, 2023, and a bid opening memorandum had been prepared by the town engineer and forwarded to the Town Board for review. Now therefore be resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Water District Number 9, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard Frangetti in his memo dated April 5, 2023, hereby awards the aforesaid bid to TAM Enterprises, Inc., Goshen, New York, the lowest responsible bidder for meeting specifications at a cost not to exceed $164,100. And be it further resolved, the Town Supervisor, Michael Kazari, is hereby authorized to execute any and all documentation necessarily to effectuate the purchase authorized herein, and be it further resolved, the Town Controller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any and all budgetary transfers or modifications required pursuant to this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Shannon. Can we have a roll call?
Councilman Baranowski.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Supervisor Kazari.
Yes, number 6 passed. The seventh resolution is accepting proposal for purchase and installation of pump and motor, Carmel Sewer District Number 2. Councilman Shannon?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Sewer District Number 2, and upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby accepts the proposal of All Makes Pump and Motor Repair, Inc., Yorktown Heights, New York, for the purchase and installation of CMF Mudwell 801 pump at the Carmel Sewer District Number 2 treatment plant at a cost not to exceed $36,035. And in accordance with the proposal/invoice dated January 31st, 2023, and be it further resolved that the Town Supervisor, Michael Kazari, is hereby authorized to sign all necessary documents to accept said proposal. And be it further resolved that the Town Controller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any budgetary transfers or modifications required pursuant to this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Lombardi. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Baranowski.
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi.
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough.
Yes.
Councilman Shannon.
Yes.
Supervisor Kazari.
Yes. Number 7 passed. The eighth resolution is accepting proposal for micro detection study, Carmel Sewer District Number 5. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of the Town of Carmel Sewer District Number 5, and pursuant to the direction of the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, entered into an order of consent with New York State DEC addressing and remediating certain violations at the Carmel Sewer District Number 5 treatment plant concerning the treatment of effluent discharge at said plant. And whereas on December 15th, 2021, the town board subsequently authorized entry into a modified order of consent with New York State DEC. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of town engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., and acting as commissioners of Carmel Sewer District Number 5, in connection and in accordance with the provisions of the modified order of consent referenced above, hereby accepts the proposal of Duke Root Control, Inc., Elgin, Illinois, for the conducting of an infiltration and inflow micro detection study at a cost not to exceed $24,000 in accordance with the proposal dated March 21st, 2023. Be it further resolved that Town Supervisor Michael Casari is hereby authorized to execute any and all documentation reasonably necessary to effectuate and purchase authorized hereunder. Be it further resolved that the Town Controller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any budgetary transfers or modifications required pursuant to this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by McDonough. Can we have a roll call?
Councilman Baranowski?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Shannon?
Yes.
Supervisor Kazari?
Yes, number 8 passed. So as the engineer had said with this one, they did correct water that was coming in through one of the manholes. They raised it up to stop that water, but there's still way too much water going into this sewer, and it's going to cause us to keep getting violations with DEC, and that's not going to be good because we'll get fined. The 9th resolution is authorizing emergency purchase raw water pump, Carmel Water District Number 8. Councilwoman McDonough, could you read that?
Yes. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Water District Number 8, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard Franzetti, in his memo dated March 27, 2023, hereby accepts the quote dated March 21, 2023, from Emens Metro LLC, Manans, New York, for the emergency purchase of a raw water intake pump at the Carmel Water District Number 8 treatment facility at a cost not to exceed $17,091, and in accordance with the proposal dated March 21, 2023. And be further resolved that the cost of said repairs and improvements be assessed proportionately among Carmel Water Districts Number 1, Number 8, Number 10, and Number 13. And be further resolved, the Town Supervisor, Michael Casari, is hereby authorized to execute any and all documentation reasonably necessary to effectuate the purchase authorized hereunder. And be further resolved, the Town Comptroller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any budgetary transfers or modifications required pursuant to this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Seconded.
Seconded by Councilman Baranowski. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Baranowski?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Shannon?
Yes.
Supervisor Kazari?
Yes, resolution number 9 passed. The 10th resolution is authorizing amendment of contract for landscaping / grass cutting services, Town of Carmel, Parks, and Town Hall. Councilman Baranowski, could you read that one?
Sure. Whereas on February 16, 2022, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has previously authorized awarding of bid for landscaping / grass cutting services at various Town of Carmel town parks, Town of Carmel Town Hall, Highway Department, Historical Building, to Greenway Property Services, Stamford, Connecticut. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Director of Parks and Recreation and Parks, James R. Gilchrist, hereby authorizes the amendment of the existing contract with Greenway Property Services, Inc., to provide additional weekly mowing services for Baldwin Meadows Park and Sycamore Park, and a weekly additional cost of $375 and $315 respectively. And be it further resolved that Town Supervisor Michael Casari is hereby authorized to execute any and all documentation reasonably necessary to effectuate the purchase authorized hereunder, and be it further resolved that Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to make any budgetary transfers or modifications required pursuant to this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Second by Lombardi. Can I have a roll call?
Councilman Baranowski?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes, but I just wanted to, finish the vote first, right? Yeah, finish the vote first.
Councilman Shannon?
Yes.
Supervisor Kazari?
Yes, so number 10 passed.
And
Yeah.
I just, because unfortunately I was not here last week, but this is just until the staff gets back up to par, right?
Exactly.
That's
And
correct.
then it's going to go back to the staff. Okay. All right, but these two can
It's a
come.
5-year contract, right? Yeah,
Right, but these two can come out
as soon as.
as the staff is up. We don't have
Yes.
to wait the 5 years.
No.
Right, otherwise
Su-
I was,
Susie,
otherwise
that-
I was going to
That's
rescind.
Frank brought that up last
No, I
time.
brought that up last week. I
Yeah.
asked that
Okay.
specifically. And
All
I
right,
could- yeah.
that's, yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Right.
Got it, thank you.
Stephen read that, right?
Yes, Stephen read that.
You read that one, right?
Yes,
Yes.
I think.
Yep.
Yeah, you did. All right, so our 11th resolution is authorizing advertisement for bids. Councilman Lombardi, could you read that one?
Resolved that the Director of Recreation and Parks, James R. Gilchrist, is hereby authorized to advertise for bids for the installation of playground equipment and poured-in-place rubber surface at Airport Park. And be it further resolved that upon finalization and completion of bid specifications, the Director of Recreation and Parks is to furnish detailed specifications for the above to the town clerk and Spofford, which are to be used in conjunction with the town's general bid conditions and specifications. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
We could do all in favor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So seconded by Shannell. Number 11 passed. And yes, finally.
Yes.
Yes. Number 12 is a resolution authorizing entry into a memorandum of understanding with New York State Greenway Land Trail Grant. Whereas the Town of Carmel Recreation and Parks Department has received a grant from New York State Conservatory Hudson River Valley Greenway Land Trail Grant for the rehabilitation and improvements of Volks Park trails. Now therefore be it resolved that the town supervisor, Michael Kazari, is hereby authorized to sign memorandum of understanding in such form and substance as currently on file with the office of the supervisor. I offer this resolution as read,
Second.
seconded by Lombardi. I think we have a roll call for that? Yeah? Yeah. You think so? Roll call?
Sure.
Yeah, okay, please.
Councilman Baranowski?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Shannell?
Yes.
Supervisor Kazari?
Yes, I think it's like $6,000. Yeah, so it's money. So it's money, so we have to vote, yes, we have to do that one. Our 13th resolution is authorizing request for proposals pursuant to Property Maintenance Law 114. It's yours. Councilwoman McDonough, could you read that?
Yes. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, in accordance with Chapters 114 of the Town of Carmel Town Code titled Property Maintenance, hereby authorizes Town of Carmel Director of Codes Enforcement, Michael Carnazza, to solicit request proposals for the cleanup and correction of town code violations existing for the property located at 1 Fowler Avenue, Carmel, New York. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Shannell. Yeah. Roll call. Oh,
Just going out to bid.
oh, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that passed. That's yours, Frank.
I'm good.
And Peters. Number 14 is authorizing execution of memorandum of agreement regarding administrative sergeant assignment. Councilman Baranowski, could you read that one?
Sure. Wherefore, the Town Board for the Town of Carmel, Town Board, hereby ratifies and accepts the memorandum of agreement dated January 1, 2023, MOA, between the Town of Carmel Police Benevolent Association, PBA, and the Town of Carmel regarding the establishment of the administrative sergeant assignment. Be it resolved that the Town Board hereby authorizes the Town Supervisor, Michael Kazari, to execute the MOA with the PBA on its behalf. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Seconded by McDonough. Roll call.
Councilman Baranowski?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Shannell?
Yes.
Supervisor Kazari?
Yes. So That is the end of the voting meeting. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Annie?
Ann, for
Thank
coming
you,
in
ma'am.
and being good to me. So can I get a motion to close the voting meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so,
And thank you, everyone, for coming out. Appreciate it.
so now a motion to open up the work session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. Get home safe. Thank you. Everyone. Thank you.
Pete, it's really good to see you.
Long overdue, but thank you.
Yeah. Enjoy that grandbaby. So I asked the board to review the town board minutes from the April 5th, 2023 meeting, please. The first item,
Thanks, Frank. Have a good night.
bye Frank. Thanks for cleaning up over there.
Thank you.
So the Hamilton Carmel Civic Association, I forgot how many bags he said, it was a bunch.
301
Yeah.
Fowler Avenue.
Fallow Avenue, 301, they cleaned up all the garbage along the Lake Lenida. You know, that Frank and the other members of the Civic Association, I did it with them last year, and I missed it this year, apparently. And thank you guys for, and ladies, just in case, for cleaning that up. So the first thing on our agenda, so this
Yeah,
first one's
it's-
pulled in?
Yeah, no, the first one is actually item number 2. And item number 1 is actually item number 5.
Aha, thank you.
Yep.
So, yeah, because it threw me off, because you're sitting there and it's,
Yeah, I took a thing, I was like, wait a minute.
yeah, you look familiar, but not the name I'm thinking. So our first item then is Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., Town Engineer. Consider request to authorize a bond return for site plan tax map number 55.14-1-11.2, lot number 4, Pulte Homes, New York, Inc., for $839,220.90. Richard?
You essentially explained it all. This is for Lot 4 on the Pulte Homes. It is on March 9th of 2023. The Planning Board passed a motion recommending the bond return in the amount of $839,220.90 for that lot. Both myself and the building inspector, Mike Carnaza, have inspected the property, and the features that are necessary for the return of the performance bond have been completed.
Anybody? Questions? Thank you, Rich. So the second item is, again, Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., Town Engineer, consider request to authorize bond return for site plan 55.14-1-11.3, lot number 5, Pulte Homes, New York, Inc., and that is for $872,660.75. Rich?
Again, this is for the Pulte Homes. This is for Lot 5. On March 9th, the Planning Board passed a motion recommending that bond return of $872,660.75. Both Mike Carnaza, the Director of Code Enforcement, and myself have inspected the site, and the features that were bonded as part of the performance bond have been completed, and this bond can be returned.
Okay.
So,
Oh.
Rich, I just have a question. On the bond application, and maybe I'm just reading it wrong, it said that on February 9th, no, this is March 9th, that's why, forget it. I read it wrong, thank you. I answered my own question.
Glad I can help you.
Yeah, that was good,
Yes, you're
right?
very intuitive.
Thank
Thank
you.
You guys can ask me those questions
See?
any day of the week.
Yes.
Those are the ones I want to answer.
Yes.
Because you went out on February 9th, but you signed it March 9th. Yep, good.
So then the third resolution
Oh,
is consider request to authorize reduction of bond for site plan application, tax map number 65.6-1-22, and that is for $98,000.
So again, on March 9th, 2023, the Planning Board passed a motion recommending the bond be reduced to $98,000. This is for 14 Nicole Way LLC, Joe Zacon. So it's at the corner, you've probably seen the construction as you're going down Route 6 toward Carmel. They've done a bulk of their performance bond, but the whole entire bond is still at $98,000. That can be returned in the future. So it was just a recommendation to lower the bond. It was at $242,000. It is now being lowered to $98,000.
Okay. The only thing is just date it. There's no date on the application.
I will have that corrected.
Okay, thank you.
And then the draft MS4, which I think you killed 6 trees.
Yeah, no, we don't need this again.
The
this
state
week.
forced me to do it. That's all I have to say. This is a requirement by the state. So the town of Carmel, as the board knows, is an MS4 community, and we're required to develop and submit an annual and a semi-annual report every year as part of the New York State DEP, New York State DEC Speedy's general permit for stormwater discharges from MS4. MS4 stands for Municipal Separate Storm Sewer Systems. There's a draft annual MS4 report. It will be placed on the Town of Carmel webpage on May 1st and will be posted for comment for about 30 days before being made final. The final MS4 report is due every year on January 1st. So that's why I'm doing it a little early, because of the voting schedule in May. I wanted to make sure we can get it up there for May 1st, have it up for 30 days. And then once it's final on June 1st, I'm also requesting that it be able to be signed by the signed by the supervisor and submitted to the New York State DEC in a timely fashion. We do this every year, unfortunately, on the grand scheme of things. It's paper. That's the unfortunate part of it. So. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
Wait, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Supervisor, can we just make an announcement? Water restrictions, Carmel Water District 8 are still in effect. They'll be in effect through the end of June. So I just wanted to make everybody know that those are still there. Please don't use water for irrigation or fill pools. We have an empty tank at the top of Kings Ridge right now, and it's being worked on, it's being serviced. The board will get a memo from me tomorrow about some issues that we've seen up there once I have some additional information from our consulting engineer. But we do have that tank empty. There's a temporary pressure tank up there. We just want to make sure that we're able to provide water to everybody, and if everybody can just curtail water use. Thank you.
How much extra time, they didn't tell you?
I'll have all that for you tomorrow. Something came in after like 6 o'clock. I haven't had a chance to get it, but I'll have something for the board tomorrow. So I don't want to be elusive. I'll tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
Right, so when they opened up the tank, the floor of the tank itself, the sand underneath the steel plates, they look like pizza pies around the bottom. There was sand underneath them. The sand washed away, and those pieces of metal have kind of collapsed in. The metal pieces it's a glass-lined tank. Those were glass lined. So the glass lining is gone. That protects the steel from actually corroding. So that's all gone. It started to corrode in those areas. So what we need to do is get a new floor for the tank. So we're going to be out of service a little longer. It was not anticipated that this would be the case. We've gone through a couple of different inspections on this. There was a level of probably about a foot of sludge on the bottom of that, where they can never have seen the bottom of the tank. We cleaned out the bottom, and that's what we found. The logic or the reasoning behind it is when the tank was built in 1994, the way the tank, the metal sits into a groove, the metal tank sits into a groove in the concrete. In 1994, they used sand as the base of it, and now they use a mortar, so there's no water. What happens is the sand over time washed away. There was no caulking put on the outside. Again, that was how they did it in 1994. So there was no caulking. Whatever rain over 30 plus years, the water has washed away the underneath of that tank. So we're in the process of getting a quote for a new floor for that and being able to, have it done on an expedited manner. I will be sending something to the board when I get the information on the quote. I'm going to be approving a PO. We're going to need additional funding on our bonds for that, so that'll all go in at the same time. I'll be asking all that while we're getting that particular floor refabricated. When I do ask for the money for the additional bonding, we're going to ask for it also just in case it happened at Crest Road, because they were put in at the same time under the same contract. So who knows, right? We don't know what's at the bottom of that tank until we empty it out and figure out what's there. So hopefully that's not the case, but we're going to err on the side of caution, hence the reason why we're going to have that, the water regulations in place even longer. So
What if that leaked and failed eventually, right?
the floor was fine, nothing failed on it, but ultimately it would have failed
Rotted
and would
through.
have, rotted through just by normal rusting, and it would have broken through the floor, and the tank would have slowly leaked out over time. It wouldn't have collapsed completely, but it would do it over a slow period of time, just like any kind of steel. After it's been sitting out in the open for a while, you'll get those little holes, but those little holes get bigger, especially when you have 35, 40 foot of pressure or a head on top of it. So that's what's, you're going to be seeing that coming across your table or your emails tomorrow. I'm giving you the heads up on it tonight. I apologize for the long-windedness of it, but it is, an emergency situation in the sense of we need to get it done while we have the tank out of service, and we're going to get it done now.
So Rich, you alluded to before, so when we paid to have the inspection done of the tanks, they just missed it because there was sludge down there? Like that, like why wouldn't they go through the sludge to see
It's
what
a
was
remote
there?
vehicle, so it's just
Oh,
an
it's
ROV. They
remote.
dropped it in. They weren't divers. You could put divers in there. We never did divers. It was just done by ROVs. And when the ROVs go in, remote operated vehicle, ROV, when it's strapped in there, it's just going around. It can only do so much. Once you hit the muck on the bottom, you know what happens. It kicks it all up. You lose any kind of vision you have anyway. So you wouldn't have been able to see it. It was something that was not visual that way.
Okay.
And normally, you don't anticipate that to be the case. That's, when you talk to the manufacturers, they don't expect to see things like this happen, so.
Right, okay,
Thank you. Thank you for updating them on that.
yes.
No problem. So
It's
you
better
know
in
what I
person.
know. I'll have better
Yeah, like it,
information
yeah.
for you all tomorrow.
Got
Thanks.
it, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Rich. So our fifth item is from our Highway Superintendent, Michael Simone, request to dispose of equipment. He is requesting authorization to dispose of truck number 12. It is a 2006 Chevy Silverado utility, and he gives us the last 5 digits of the VIN number is 57095. The last item on our work session tonight is from my friend Edward J. Scott, ex-chief, Mahopac Fire Department, corresponding secretary. He is asking that we remove from the active roles a Tyler Postan. He changed that to exempt status. Add to active roles 4/6/2023 is a Cody Witten from Mahopac, New York. I had comments here. Where did I put them? Oh, yeah. So we had a successful Shred It event. Thank you, all the town board members, for coming and helping with that. We are going to be doing an e-waste, electronic equipment drop-off on Saturday, May 13th. That's going to be from 9 a.m. to 12. And we're going to have it across here from the Town Hall on Mud Pond Road. It's for Town of Carmel residents only. You need to show proof of residency. And there's a full list of the items accepted for this recycling day at our website, which is ci.carmel.ny.us. There is no meeting next week. Next town board meeting will be on Wednesday, May 3rd. She wrote it down because I keep messing up the date. That's like pretty sad.
Third day of the month.
Yeah. So that's all that I have. Anybody else have comments?
Nope. I'm good.
Nothing.
Oh, And we also dedicated the bench, you mean?
On the bench,
Yes,
on
yes.
Saturday.
And we dedicated the bench to Fran, 40-something years with recreation. Just, she was like such a sweet woman. It actually was touching to listen to former director Dick Gennaro and Jim talk about her, and it's hilarious, the things that she would call Jim, and they admitted to it. It was pretty, it was funny. Yeah, so anybody else? No. So after this, we're going to go to executive session to speak to our town assessor. We have personnel things to discuss. So can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
A
Second.
second?
Go into executive session.
Oh, move
To go, right.
to go to executive session and adjourn from there. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.